afternoon, Real Life Radio listeners. This is Jennifer on your Community Connection Corner here on your Catholic station, Real Life Radio 1380 and 94.9 FM. Joined today by Angelo Baez from Birthright. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jennifer. Thank you for having me.
And we are introducing our listeners to different nonprofit community organizations in the area and just letting people know who you are and what opportunities are out there. So tell us about Birthright.
Well, Birthright of Lexington is a nonprofit organization. It actually has been here in Lexington going on 42 years. It was originally founded in 1968 by a Canadian housewife named Louise Summerhill. And the purpose of Lexington is to help the young woman, the girl who finds themselves in either an unwanted or an unplanned pregnancy. So in that respect, of course, we are pro-life. We are a pregnancy crisis center. And our focus is to help the distressed mother and her baby. Birthright prides itself in its motto, which is that it is the right of every woman to give birth to her child, and it is the right of every child to be born.
That's pretty powerful. You know, and thinking, you don't hear that it's the right of every child to be born. A lot of times everyone just talks about the women's rights, but, you know, it's the right of every child to be born. I mean, that's pretty cool that you guys have that in your mission statement?
That is correct. Okay. Right, exactly. And we also say that, you know, of course, it you know, especially today, it could be, it might be seen as an unwanted pregnancy, an unplanned pregnancy, but it is not an unwanted child.
Absolutely.
And the purpose of Birthright is to help the young lady to not feel pressured into making a decision that could more than likely and in all probability affect her for the rest of her life. It is not just a mass of cells. It is a life. The Bible tells us that. All right? Christ says, I knew you before you were born. I knew you from the womb. That's in Isaiah, as a matter of fact. I read that this morning.
Very good.
Birthright feels that it is their responsibility to provide whatever help she needs in order to bring her baby to full term, whatever it takes.
And when we talked yesterday, you said a lot of what you guys do is relationship focused. And, you know, the conversation and the support of getting to know someone more than some of the other, you know, I hate to say tactics because that sounds weird, out there, but really focusing on walking with the lady, talking with, and finding out where she really is and meeting her where she is, right?
That is correct, right. What the Birthright volunteers do when they speak with one of the walk-ins, you know, the young lady that would come in, you know, to seek help, we try to establish a relationship with her. We listen, we empathize, we seek to establish that kind of a friendship relationship so that we can understand where she's coming from. We do more listening than talking. All right, that's very important. Our organization has been based, and there's no question about the fact that it is successful, and it has been successful because we seek love and understanding and empathy and friendship. That's what we try to establish with every woman that comes in. We seek to support, not to judge. It is non-judgmental. It is not our business to judge. It is our business to listen, to empathize, to understand, and to guide. And that's what we do.
Now, your wife is the executive director, and you have come along to support her in your role now that you've retired. So tell us about how your wife got involved, because I think that's a fabulous story.
Well, Ari is the executive director. She has been for the past 10 years. And we moved to Lexington, Kentucky almost 18 years ago. It's going on 18 years ago. And when we first got here, one of the things that we did when we picked up the local newspaper was that Ari noticed that there was a gap between the Hispanic community and the medical community, so that those Hispanic women who were pregnant had problems communicating with the doctors, and obviously the doctors with their patients. So Ari said, I think that's why we got here. You know, Christ will put us where we're supposed to be.
Right.
Okay. All we
Like
need
it
to
or
do is
not.
that's correct, right? Exactly. All we need to do is listen, and we will hear his plan. There's no question in my mind about that. And Ari said, that's what I need to do. And she went out and volunteered her time. And actually, she participated in over 40 live births when she was right there
Wow.
in the delivery room, assisting the nurses and the doctors. And that's how she got to be known to the Catholic Diocese. And they hired her with the Catholic Action Center. And during her work with them throughout the years, she established a relationship with Birthright of Lexington. And when the then director became pregnant herself and she had to step down, the board asked Ari to join them. And she most graciously did. And she's been involved with Birthright, as I said, for the past 10 years. This February, as a matter of fact, she celebrated 10 years. And obviously, as her husband, I have supported her in everything that she does. I retired about 3 years ago, so I supported her as best I could while I was a bank examiner for the federal government, obviously doing a lot of traveling. Since I retired, my main focus has been in doing whatever I want to do as a retired person.
Right, of course.
But also, now that I'm able to help Ari in every way I could, I officially joined the board about 1.5 years ago. So that's how that has come about.
And your position has kind of evolved into the outreach, and getting your name out there now. Is that?
Many of the board, well, all of the board members have their own specific roles. And one of the gaps that we had was actually someone that would do public relations and outreach. So that was a gap that existed. So my wife and I spoke about it, and we spoke to the board about it, and I thought that I could do that. So here I am. I am a board member and doing public relations and outreach. That's why I'm here.
Fantastic. So what about, Birthright? How does a woman just walk in, or is there a hotline they call, or how do they get in touch with you? How do they find you?
Birthright of Lexington is located at 2134 Nicholasville Road, Suite 6. And their phone number is 859-277-2635. And yes, anyone can just walk in, absolutely. Now, because the hours are limited, there is also a hotline. That hotline appears in the office door should someone not be there, or if someone calls and we're unable to answer. The hotline number, and that operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that number is 800-550-4900. So, for example, if a volunteer is not at the office and someone calls the hotline will take the information down and pass that information along to Ari. Ari will then immediately get in touch with that person.
Okay.
All right, so it's not like they have to wait. The only thing they need to do is just wait until Ari gets contacted.
Right.
Ari gets the information, and then she will contact the person.
So you were telling me yesterday that Ari has mentored women and walked with them and maybe sometimes feel like it was a failure. Of course, not necessarily failing at anything, but then a few months later, she meets the baby. And that's just so powerful of a witness. I mean, just in that role. And you think, okay, I didn't get through to that girl at all. And then here comes the baby because something you said stuck, and just how rewarding that must be.
Most of the time when Ari comes home, she is obviously in a very good mood because she has been able to get through to someone that has walked in. There were a couple of times when she came home and I could just see by the look on her face that she was, well, she felt as if she failed. She looked destroyed, and she felt as if she was not able to get through, that she was not able to establish this supportive relationship with the woman, and that when the woman left, the woman felt very secure in her decision not to carry the child full term. Months later, however, the woman came back with the baby to show Ari that something she said stuck with her, and that she could not go into that clinic and terminate that life. That is so emotional. That is so joyous. That is so wonderful. Ari has a corkboard in her office with pictures of these mothers with their babies. It is a beautiful, wonderful, thrilling sight to see.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to let folks know how they can get involved with Birthright in a little bit of a deeper level. This is Angelo Baez of Birthright here with me, Jennifer Longworth, on your Community Connection Corner here on your Catholic station, Real Life Radio 1380 and 94.9 FM, WMJR, Nicholasville, Lexington.